Hello all sentient beings and welcome to the Transmissions Podcast, where we talk about all Hasbro, Takara, and third-party Transformers! On this episode of Transmissions, we get a look at Movie Masterpiece Starscream. Mech Fans Toys shows off their G1 Wreck-Gar figure, and what does the future hold for the San Diego Comic-Con? Today is Wednesday, April 22nd, 2020, and this is episode 378 of Transmissions.
Welcome to Transmissions, the podcast that encourages you to transform and combine to help pass the time at home during the lockdown. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how's it going?
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
What if you live at home, alone? What do you combine with? Huh?
Just do the line, Daryl. Just do the line.
Just shut up and say what you're supposed to say so we can move on. Let's talk Transformers.
Always screwing up the intro, Daryl.
Just posing a question.
Anyway.
I thought you were a scientist. Isn't your whole job questions? Answering questions?
Yeah, the question is, why am I still talking to you? That's the question.
I have an answer. I'm charming. You can't say no to me.
Anyway, I don't want to. I know it'll bring us down, but unfortunately, we got to start off the show on a sad note.
Jeremy,
because I wasn't going to do that to him because I don't want Jeremy to be the angel of death all the time. So I was going to take the hit this time, but
I just want to hear Jeremy pronounce the name.
Anyway, sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but voice actor Keiji Fujiwara has passed away. He was 55. He's a well-known voice actor on many Japanese anime. In particular, for Transformers, he was Megatron on Transformers Prime, Grimlock on Transformers Animated, Dinobot in Beast Wars, and Devastator in Micron Legend. Condolences to his family and friends, and sorry for his passing, and yeah.
Truly. I think it should be noted that everyone questions most passings at this time, especially someone dying so young at 55. It wasn't due to COVID-19. It was due to cancer. So, yeah, still sad.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yep. All right. So, with that sad news passed on, let's move on with the rest of the show. We always thank our Donatrions, those people who really help us out and support the show. So thank you to all those people out there who continue to support us and keep the show going. And if you'd like to join them, you can go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. You can also get some merchandise from our TeePublic store at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. And you can also check out our friend of the show, K-Girl, and her shop at teepublic.com/user/superstark. Again, one apology. So we had announced a sale last week, and then just the day before, TeePublic emailed us and said, oops, we're postponing the sale until next week. Sorry. So there was no sale last week, but there is a sale this week. So unless it gets postponed again. But for right now, there will be a sale this starting today. So Wednesday, April 22nd through Friday, April 24th. And everything at TeePublic is 35% off. So if you use our link, that will help out the show. So transmissionspodcast.com/shop, that will take you to our store. But then if you go to anything at TeePublic, you can take advantage of that sale and you can help us out as well. So check that out. Also, this week we released the uncut version of Empire of Rust episode 21, Murder on the Metallicus Express. So that was released, the regular show was released last week. And this week we have the Donatreon special version that is just uncut. So you can listen to that if you are a Donatreon. It will be up on Patreon or through the password protected Dropbox if you're a PayPal donatreon. So you should already have access to that. That came out on Monday. And if you don't, let us know and we will get you access to that. So hope you enjoy that and hope you're enjoying Empire of Rust. So now let's start off the show and talk about some toys.
All right, and first up this week, we got some Masterpiece news. It's been a while since we got some Masterpiece news, so I was pretty excited to see this until it said that it's Movie Masterpiece news. And then I got a little sad. Anyway, the movie news, Masterpiece news that we got this past week was a brand new figure, Starscream, in his movie Masterpiece deco. This is a very cool F-35 Raptor.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's F-35. And it looks really badass in the F-35 mode. The problem I have with it is that it turns into movie Starscream, which is just an ugly, ugly mode, robot mode. For my taste, anyway. Some people probably like it quite a bit. I can't get my head around the body shapes and stuff. It's quite alien. But yeah, it's a Masterpiece figure, so I'm assuming there's going to be quite a lot of articulation here, a whole bunch of panels. I mean, just by looking at it, I can tell that there's a whole whack of panels going on here. There's a bunch of fingers that have articulation on them, which has not been done on a Starscream figure before. Yeah, there's a lot of greeble here on this thing, but it does look like the movie the movie Starscream. So, I mean, chalk one up for them for actually nailing the design. Along with the announcement came a cool stop motion video that showed the transformation and some of the articulation. So that was really cool to get. I don't think we've gotten one of those before, so that's really neat. And also we got a price point on him. He's going to retail for $149.99 US and will be available, I think that's September 1st. So that's pretty cool. That is, I'm more curious to what everyone else's feelings on this, because I know mine, and this is definitely a no buy for me because really I'm not into the movie stuff. I like the alt mode. Yeah, like I said, it looks pretty awesome, but all in all, it's a movie figure that's really not my cup of tea. Charles, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this Starscream. I know our resident Starscream superfan DJ Ronan in the chat, he mentions that it's an F-22 Raptor.
F-22, that's right. Yep.
And he would know because he is the #1 transmission Starscream fan, right, as far as I know. But yeah, I mean, this Starscream is really like I'm not a I've made it clear that my opinion on the movie aesthetic is bad. It's not favorable. And yeah, this Starscream in particular doesn't make me think of Starscream. So I am reminded, this was several years ago, closer to when the first movie came out. And this was another one of the gifts that my wife bought me. She bought me I forget what. It was one of the big Starscream figures, and it was a movie Starscream figure. So, I was like, yeah, thanks. So
she's more than made up for it.
No,
now.
and she was, and credit to her, because she bought that on her own, thinking, hey, he likes Transformers, I'll get him this Transformer. I mean, she didn't know that I didn't like the movie design, so it was a thoughtful gift. It was just it's like it reminds me of that the Simpsons episode where Homer goes to Australia and he's like, give me one of those huge beers, and the guy gives it to him and it's like, it's pretty big, I guess. Starscream, the movie Starscream is not my preferred Starscream design, in summary. But I did want to mention, because we were supposed to have young Daryl on the show, Eric Crownover, and at the last minute he unfortunately wasn't able to make it. but he did send me a DM. He said because I showed him the show notes and he saw that we were, this was a potential topic. So he has a message and he said he wants to tell everyone that if we talk about Masterpiece movie Starscream without him, make sure to mention that he's so excited for this amazing version of his childhood Starscream. So that's just, a knife in my heart, my shriveled old man heart. I'm glad young Daryl is happy. Good job. Enjoy, Eric. Enjoy your figure, Eric.
Like we've talked about a number of times, there's a lot of people out there who are in the same shoes as Eric is, and it's their G1, right? So the movies are their G1, and that's what they're leaning into now. They're leaning into the movie stuff because that's the money makers right now. The disposable income is in the movies, and let's get some of that disposable income. Jeremy, let's see if this is in your wheelhouse.
It's not. That's not a surprise. I will say it's nice that, like you said, the jet mode looks fantastic, but it's nice that this says that they actually use the CAD files from the theatrical films to design it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you can tell it looks screen accurate. And, I think that's really admirable. And for people like Eric, who this is their, first Starscream, I'm happy that they're able to get it. I know how excited I was when we first saw the first Masterpiece Starscreams that we were getting. So for them to have the same experience with, their G1, I'm happy to see that. But this robot mode design just never did anything for me. It was just, I don't know, too squat. It just never really looked good.
He looked like a gorilla with arms so long and really short legs.
Yeah.
It's more the torso area. It just seems like it's missing like a whole section to make it proportional to how we would expect it to look. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I can't really fault the toy for looking like the movie. It's screen accurate. It's got lots of articulation. The engineering is fantastic. And like I said, the alt mode looks great. So happy that people are going to be able to get it that like it.
Yeah, there definitely appears to be LEDs in the head, so the eyes will light up. I don't think there's sound effects, so don't look for that. It looks to be that each arm has either an add-on weapon or a transformable weapon on the arm, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I agree with Charles. The chest is crazy wide for the really tiny, thin hips, and then the legs are just too squat, and the arms are crazy long. So, and not that it's, yes, it's an alien robot. You can make that distinction, every single time we talk about this, but it's got a thumb on each side of the hand, which just drives me crazy. So it's something that's just a weird little thing that I don't particularly like myself. And yeah, the proportions of it they're just off, but it makes a really sweet jet. So, whatever. Anyway, that's my topic, but I do have one more thing I wanted to touch upon just for just an FYI for people out there. We do run a monthly toy hacks contest, and it's to kind of get everyone kind of involved and get toy hacks a little bit of, knowledge, or not, get people's knowledge of toy hacks up. But during the current situation, the COVID-19 situation, Toy Hacks has been getting overrun with orders, which is in normal circumstances a great thing. But because that their office is so small, they have had to have a lot of people work from home if possible, and very few people working in the office. So what they've been doing, and it was announced on their Facebook page and trickled out over social media in some places, but we figured we'd highlight it here, is that Toy Hacks has been turning on and off their ordering system for their website. So if you were to go to their site, say, just for example, right now, and you were to pump in an order and it doesn't work, like I can't order from the site, then you might think, oh man, they're not taking orders or something's wrong with their system. Well, maybe try again tomorrow or in a couple of days, because they're staggering or turning the faucet on and off for these orders because they're trying to keep up and, keep pace with the orders that are coming in, because they are just getting swamped. And the very few people that are actually working at the office, filling the orders, is not the amount that they could be using to fill these orders on time. So, and they don't want to get too far behind because they know people complain and they get upset, and the postal system is shit right now. So things are taking longer to get to people, and they don't want to be an additional delay to getting orders out. So if you go there to make an order and it's not taking it, don't think there's something
it's like
wrong.
The ordering thing is not even available.
Right.
I believe.
So if you go there and you can't make an order, try again in a day or two. If it's still not there, wait a little longer. They are taking orders. They're just staggering them so they can keep up. Just wanted to get out that public service announcement just to let everyone know, because we love Toy Hacks. They make some really awesome product and really do allow for the stickers and the labels to really pop and make your figures look amazing. And they've been really doing a lot of good work with the little 3D printed parts lately. And they've been really doing some really cool stuff. And they offer a monthly prize to the show. So, it's good to keep up and let them know that we're still supporting them in this kind of pared down aspect. Anyway, Jeremy, what did you find for us this week?
Well, let's talk about Kentai. This is not something with tentacles and stuff. This is Kentai. It is
apparently Kentai. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So a few months ago we talked about this. Right? No. In Japan, there was this proficiency test on, I'm guessing, Transformers knowledge, and you could get certificates and stuff, and all participants would receive an exclusive Optimus Prime figure, and we now have pictures of that figure, and it looks like a very basic Legends figure. It has movie-styled feet, not super interesting of a figure.
It's not sexual at all.
It's not. But you also get this book. It's all in Japanese, obviously, so I can't read it. But it looks like it has some more classic artwork in it, from the Japanese stuff. But I thought this would be fun to just bring up and show off, and it had a fun name. So
you're going to make this very difficult to jerk off to, Jeremy, but I'm going to try.
I know how you get with your robots. So anyway, the real topic I want to talk about is...
Put some plastic down.
Daryl, zip up your pants and we can move on.
I got sweats on.
Let's talk...
Easy access,
So
Jeremy.
now the real thing I want to talk about is Action Masters. This Takara Tomy Mall has some exclusive, what they're calling what we have with Cyberverse, the new Build-A-Figure line. They're using the Action Master name for that line.
No, that won't be confusing at all.
No, it won't. So, just, more fun Japan stuff. But we have here pictures of Wave 1. I'm guessing these are the Build-A-Figures.
Yeah.
Action Master 1, which is Optimus. Action Master 2, which is Megatron. And Action Master 3, which is Shockwave.
Yeah, they're saying there's no real difference between these figures and the Hasbro versions.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's just interesting to see how they're changing or how they're doing things in Japan versus here. I don't know. You guys have any comments on either of these? It is a crappy week for me.
I mean, I don't understand why they would pick Action Master for Action Masters exist. They're not this, so this is just, and particularly in Japan, the words Action Master don't mean anything to the Japanese, so why use that? It just seems like
it's a name that they had that they can reuse.
Yeah, I guess. And we're the...
does the Build-A-Figure transform?
No.
No.
I guess it's an Action Master.
Yeah, there you go. We have solved it. So, I guess these are all Wave 1. Oh, yeah, Mac Adam is the Build-A-Figure.
Yes, that's right. And the Kentai test, Yeah, I don't understand the whole. I mean, I think this is kind of a Japanese cultural thing where they you know, you can get certified in anything, or you know, these proficiency tests. I mean, okay, you know about Transformers. Good job.
It looks like it's a particular website that does these tests and certificates for anything.
Yeah.
And so being a big anniversary for Transformers. But it's awesome that they did get a figure, even if it is this crappy Legends figure.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine, I mean, if we knew Japanese, I imagine we could all crush this test and get our certification. Just got to learn Japanese first. Mm-hmm. Probably watch the Japanese manga or the Japanese anime and read the manga too. We probably have to do that. Although the manga's, now that the first volume of the manga's out, we got a fighting chance.
Yeah. And watch. There'll be Kiss Play questions on there, and then Daryl will just be all confused.
I assume we could do this test with Google Translate and still crush it.
So, I mean, Daryl, do you have any thoughts on either of these?
Well, I'm disappointed that it's not sexual, but no, it's pretty standard stuff here, Jeremy. I'm a little disappointed in you for picking these topics.
There's no good news. So. Charles, why don't you wrap it up?
All right. So I have a Legends class figure, a third-party Legends class figure from Mech Fans Toys. So this is a third-party figure, MS-24 Garbage Man. And this is Wreck-Gar. So, yeah, I mean, Planet of Junk, Garbage Man. And actually, in Transformers Animated, Wreck-Gar was a garbage truck. So, hey, there you go. But this is the traditional G1 Wreck-Gar motorcycle figure as a Legends class figure. And it's pretty good. I mean, the robot mode looks very much like his incarnation in Transformers the movie. And the motorcycle mode is good. I mean, it's a little bit squat, but you know, it's, you know, making a little bit concessions to make the head and robot proportions fit as a motorcycle. But I still think it looks good. It's you know, it's a cool little figure. Wreck-Gar is a good guy. I like Wreck-Gar. And this could be, I guess, you know, a potential army building figure if you want to have an army of Junkions to have a Planet of Junk diorama or something. Although they might want to have different head sculpts for the other Junkions to just keep Wreck-Gar being distinct, and then you know, have the other Junkions have other head sculpts.
You honestly think a third party would do something like that?
I know that's unprecedented, right?
I know. Why?
But yeah, I mean, this is a good little Wreck-Gar, so I think it looks cool. Daryl, what do you think of this guy?
Well, then I guess you're a garbage man.
I know you are, but what am I?
A garbage man.
I know you are, but what am I?
A garbage man.
Takes one to know one. Checkmate.
Checkmate. That was the only thing I thought of when they came up with the name for this thing.
We're on the same wavelength.
The famous Simpsons line from Lemon of Troy episode.
Yes.
One of the best Simpsons episodes ever made. As far as the figure goes, it looks fantastic. The head sculpt's done very well. Proportions on the body look great. Legs are probably a little long if I had to complain about anything. But yeah, it looks good. You said that this is Legends class, right? So yeah, it's cool. They don't have any more pictures than just this. Let's assume that he could ride himself. So, you know, let's buy two with and put a different head on the other one. So yeah, that's cool. I like it. It looks good. The general price point for these kind of figures by Mech Fans Toys is around $35-$40, but that's for a little bit bigger one. So I'm gonna go with maybe $25-$30 for this guy, which is pretty reasonable. But yeah, I think it looks really good. Doesn't seem to be any kind of any kind of ETA on when it's supposed to be out. But once again, I do want to remind anybody some kind of a blanket statement regarding Mech Fans Toys. They are the company who tends to steal artwork from all of our favorite artists. So just remember going into that for, if you're looking to buy this thing, they in the past have stolen designs. They almost 100% steal artwork to put on their packaging. So, yes, know that when you're looking to purchase something like this, that their packaging may have artwork from the comics or just something from, somebody like Matt Moylan who does the Lil Formers. They may throw something like that on their packaging. It's not in the comic, but he makes it for his own use, and they take it and put it on their box. So yeah, it's the product might be cool and neat. They should probably commission their own artist to make a package.
They don't respect Hasbro's IP. Why would they respect anyone else's?
Well, that's true. Yeah. Anywho, it's a cool figure. I'll see if we see one at a convention. But yeah, if anyone is out there, does end up ever going to a Transformers convention ever again, and you do see some Mech Fans Toys stuff at a table, just take a look at the packaging, and you'll probably see for yourself that a lot of those images are probably something you recognize out of comic books.
All right, Jeremy, what do you think of this guy?
I think it looks fine. It's we've seen better Wreck-Gars, but those are at the bigger scales. For a Legends figure, I think they did a good job. What I'm impressed with is just the joints in these Legends figures and how far they've come. I mean, looking at that Optimus Prime that we just showed, and then this one, like, look at the elbows and the knees, and it's just the joints have come so far. They did a really good job here. So it's a nice looking figure.
All right, well, that will do it for our toy topics. So let's move on to trips to the store. This is where we show off all the amazing Transformers stuff we got this week. We do this as a video that we show on YouTube, so you can see everything we got in beautiful high definition, what little we've got with the lockdown going on. But you can also listen right here. Keep listening to the podcast, and we'll have the audio right here. We'll describe everything in loving detail. So without further ado, trips to the store.
The Transmissions Podcast will return after these messages.
All right, let's talk about the stuff we got. And I'm going to go first because I don't have anything new. Because, we're reviewing the Dreamwave G1. I thought I would show off my Dreamwave G1 comics. So this is issue 0, or I guess it's just the preview issue. It's a 4-page preview of Transformers G1, but then also a preview of Transformers Armada in this book. So that's that. And then issue 1, I've got several copies of issue 1. This is the Perspective Challenged Optimus Prime in this issue. This cover.
Was this the beginning of pulling Sheltons?
Probably. I've got Megatron, and I've got that foil cover.
Whoa, it's so bright.
This was the 90s were only a couple years off, so we still were getting foil embossed covers. And yeah.
So in the speculator market.
You have 2 Megatron covers?
I do have 2 Megatrons, but I also had an issue 2, so I didn't want to show issue 2 yet. But yeah.
I wonder what you're going to show next week.
But yeah, Dreamwave, Generation 1. So there you go. And that's all.
We thought we had it so good. And then, along came the 2010s.
Yep. All right, and we'll have a nice, interesting discussion for anyone who missed Dreamwave or is not familiar with Dreamwave. We'll have a discussion in alt mode. We'll catch you up. All right, Jeremy.
I got something new comics. So IDW put up their convention exclusives on their store, and I got a couple. Daryl has a couple in this list as well, because their shipping to Canada is just insane. Like, how much was it going to be?
$36
For 2 comics or
3,
however many comics.
but yeah,
3. It was like $3 shipping for me or something like that. So yeah, I have Transformers number 18. Was this the Sarah Peter Roche? I can't remember. It's the Cyclonus with the My Little Ponies.
Maybe.
Can't remember, but it's more the classic looking Cyclonus that we're used to. And then I have Transformers versus the Terminator number 1. This is the Livio cover with Soundwave on it, and it looks great. So I will say IDW, very good quality bags. Very happy to see that. I've been receiving a lot of comics recently for Daryl because of the aforementioned shipping stuff. And it's just like interesting seeing the quality of bags. And then when I got these, I was like, oh, this feels different. So anyway, that's all I got this week.
And Daryl, did you brave the big box stores to get something, or?
No, that's all. This is all from just here. I figured I'd show off a couple things that I've had in the collection and not been able to show off on the show before because comics-wise, they're not Transformers, but I have them anyway. This is X-Men number 28. First appearance of Banshee. It's an old book.
All right, thanks everyone for watching. See you guys next week.
The part of Daryl will no longer be played
101.
by Daryl Lawley.
This is the first appearance of Morbius. He's getting a movie.
Eventually.
Sometime. Eventually. And the last one. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 121. This is the death of Gwen Stacy. Whenever they do a Spider-Man movie, I think this is part of it. So this is a pretty valuable comic book.
Morbius is the living vampire because undead vampires violate the comics code. Right.
And as far as Transformers go, I pulled this one off the shelf. I've completed him within the last 12 months, and this is Hosehead. Oh. I don't remember whether I showed him off completed or not, but he's done. And I had this guy as a kid. I was given a Hosehead, and I had him like new out of the box and everything. I wasn't just like, I didn't just find him on the street, but it's a fun figure. It's a really interesting, fun transformation. The Headmaster aspect, obviously he's a Headmaster Junior. He's a fun little figure to have. The pain in the ass was all these Headmaster Juniors had the helmet, and the helmet is just it's 2 guns that go on the sides, and then it becomes the seat of the Headmaster in the character in like alt mode. And if you lost a single gun, then everything just kind of looked off because it just, everything had to be symmetrical. So this is a pretty cool figure. It definitely brings back a lot of nostalgia for me, and I like Hosehead. He's a fun character. I don't think he made too much of an impact in the show or the comic or anything ever, but he was a fun toy. I definitely liked Hosehead. So yeah, Hosehead, G1 Hosehead.
I had Hosehead as a kid too, Daryl. And
we're not talking about you, Charles. We're talking about me.
Wow.
Didn't you like him? He was fun.
He was. He did.
Yeah.
He was. In the comics, he was basically one of Nightbeat's sidekicks in the in a couple of stories. That was it.
Mm-hmm. And I'll show him because he's sitting right here. I was teasing at the beginning of the video. Jeremy may have not even had it on the screen, but this is.
It was on screen.
This is my Sergeant Cup that I've been messing with since I pulled him out of storage. I absolutely adore this figure because of the iGear aftermarket head that you can put on him to make him like IDW Cup. So he's an awesome figure, and that Cygar is just tits on him. He's awesome.
Nice.
He's a fun figure.
I still regret never getting that head.
Yeah, it was $12 for both of the heads,
right?
And a screwdriver and a little case and stuff. It was so cheap. So yeah, I really, really happy I picked that up.
All right, well, that'll do it for Trips to the Store.
We now return to the Transmissions Podcast.
All right, we're back from our Trips to the Store, and we will move on to convention news.
All right. Where is my sad music on my soundboard? The San Diego Comic-Con has officially been canceled. This is not unexpected, but they have said that if you have purchased badges for Comic-Con 2020, you'll have the option to request a refund or transfer your badges to 2021. And you'll receive an email within the next week with instructions on how to request a refund. So that it's sad, but like I said, not unexpected. I'm sure that IDW is going to have lots of news, so we'll see how they get that news out this summer. Mm-hmm. As comics start shipping again at some point. But I would also like to say that with all of these cancellations, I'm personally expecting TFCon Toronto to. I don't know. I mean, they've said nothing other than they're still, July's a way out, and they're still planning on having it. But just, I don't know. My thoughts are, it's likely going to be canceled. I mean, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I would not bet against that. So, yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm not even sure TFCon Chicago will happen in the fall. I mean, I hope that we're through most of this by then, but I think that, I mean, even if we're, if we're, things are calm and people are getting back to day-to-day stuff, I think people will still be kind of wary about traveling longer distances and going to large gatherings. So,
well, and if you look at the age of a lot of these like voice actor guests, it's just they're not going to travel. Yeah. I don't know. Daryl, do you have any comments on it?
Well, I mean, personally, I think that the Toronto convention is a likely cancellation. If being in Canada and being close to where it's held, I can kind of attest to how things are going in the area. And I mean, Toronto is a big area, even though it's held in Mississauga, it's still kind of Toronto, so it's still a pretty big area, and stuff is it's doing better than the US, but we've still got our issues. We were talking about it just before the show started, that Toronto and Canada in general is having, we're having problems in containing the virus in certain spots. Toronto's being one of them. It's just like any other major city. So I fully expect everything to kind of be, coming to a close around that time, I hope. But our health professionals are not ruling out any kind of like relapse, and we're seeing that now in China and in the places where that they kind of reopen things early. So I know that the Canadian government is taking things extremely seriously, and I'm happy about that. So I fully expect things to kind of open up very, very slowly, and that's something that the government has said. As far as TFCon Chicago goes, I mean, that's in October, right? We're way away from that.
Yeah.
But I do think that there's still going to be an air of cautiousness in the air. Mm-hmm. So myself, I think that if I did, maybe if it was still being held, you'd have to have multiple months of no, cases back to back, and in both countries here for me to want to go to a major city, to a major convention, because I don't want to, be the one to kind of catch it or to bring it back.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
So that's what I'm looking for. It seems overcautious, but you got to think you might not be the one that gets sick and you
don't want anyone else getting sick and have that on your head.
Exactly. You don't want to pass it on to your in-laws or your parents that or your grandparents that just can't handle it. So that's the real problem that a lot of people do not seem to want to kind of recognize. So so it's going to be a little while. 2020 seems to be almost a complete write-off at this point, and that's a shame. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'm sure we'll have news whenever it is announced one way or the other. I know I was looking forward to coming up to Toronto, and even if they don't cancel it, that's probably a wash right now.
Yeah.
But anyway, that is our happy convention news, Charles.
All right, we'll finish up the show with feedback. And we got a voicemail from friend of the show and Donatreon, Dr. Pants.
Hello, Transmissions Podcast. It's Dr. Pants, and I've got some feedback. Well, speculation, if you will. So you guys talked about the G1 Generations Red Figures listing that was posted, and you guys speculated about that in the one episode. And I have some speculation of my own that I was thinking of while you guys were talking about it, and it's this. So the Generations line, of course, is the current, like, small-scale collector toy line, like Siege or Earthrise or whatever. But then the G1 stuff kind of throws us off. But I'm wondering if what it is if it's G1 decos of some of the Generations figures we're getting. For example, like what we got with the 35th anniversary of Optimus Prime and Megatron, those cel-shaded like G1 style figures. The red, I think, might allude to that's what it is, because those 35th anniversary figures came in red boxes. But we're not in the 35th anniversary anymore because now we're 36th. So maybe they're not calling it that anymore. They'll call it something else. But I'm wondering if that's what those figures are. If it's just more of those anniversary style figures in the G1 deco with the cell shading, or maybe something else. I don't know. But that's my speculation on it. Tell me what you guys think. But thanks for everything. Hope you guys are staying safe out there. And thanks for constantly providing the entertainment that you guys do. I'll chat with you some other time.
I think that's a pretty reasonable extrapolation from Dr. Pants.
Do you concur?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a am I the second opinion?
Well, I mean, both doctors. So.
But yeah, I mean, I think that because definitely Soundwave getting a G1 styled cell shaded Soundwave would make sense, but we already did have a Megatron for the 35th anniversary. So, I mean, the two figures that were listed were a red Soundwave and a red Megatron. So another Megatron seems like that would be a little much, but I guess we'll see. Daryl, you're a toy doctor. What do you think?
Oh, can doctors just bestow doctorates on other people? I guess
that's cool. How it works generally.
Well, why is it taking you so long? I can see where he's coming from. I don't think I've ever seen the type of box reflected in the way that the toy is presented in like the Walmart listing. It's an interesting concept. Like you said, we did just get a Megatron. We got a Siege Soundwave as well. Are they redecoing that? He mentioned that, we're looking at he thinks it might be just G1 decos for characters in the Generations line. Well, most of the characters that we generally do get in the Generations line do tend to have a G1 deco. Now, what you mean by that maybe is just everything's going to be cell shaded, and that's cool and all, but I do find that you, like with the 35th anniversary Optimus and Megatron, you do tend to maybe limit your audience, I guess, with those, because they are very, I don't want to say specialized, but they're pointed at a specific collector who's going after cell shaded stuff. I'm not saying that kids won't buy them, because I mean, parents will buy for kids whatever the hell they want and that kind of thing. But they're $30 figures, and they're definitely just redecos. So if this is going to be a straight up different line, then that's interesting. But it sounds like the way he was looking at it, it's just going to be a repaint line of Siege stuff that has cell shading, and that's interesting, I guess. But personally, I don't. I hope it's something else, and I'm hoping for more G1, like legit 80s toys G1 reissues. But that's just me.
Jeremy, what are your thoughts?
These were going to be Walmart releases, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think Dr. Pants has got a very plausible theory. I'm kind of agreeing in some part, but then thinking that's Walmart, and Walmart has had all the other big G1 reissues. I'm hoping Daryl's right, and it's more of actual G1 stuff. maybe it's red versions of the G1 figures. Like we said on that show where we talked about it, doing a G1 Megatron gun completely in red would really eliminate the mistaking it for a real gun issue that they have.
Yeah.
It would be ugly as hell, but, you know.
All right. Well, Dr. Pants, we will keep our eyes out. And if you are proven correct, we will give you credit on the show. But yeah, we'll wait and see, and maybe we'll find out later this year. All right, and we have another piece of feedback from Donatreon Will, and he sent an email that had two parts, one for transmissions and one for transmissions alt mode. So we will do the transmission part here, and then the alt mode part in the alt mode episode. So for transmissions, for toys, Will asks, the war for Cybertron toys got me back into collecting, and I love them to pieces. G1 will always be special, but these latest ones are my favorite. What's your favorite toy line? All the best, and stay safe and healthy. So, Jeremy, can you pinpoint a favorite toy line of 35 years of Transformers?
I don't know. I'd say as a collector, because the toys I grew up with got like a lot of play with. But as a collector, you don't really play with the toys in the same way. But I'm thinking the Reveal the Shield era. I think they had some really fun toys at that point, and particularly like having a figure on my desk that I can just fiddle with while I'm avoiding doing work and stuff. Particularly, I'm thinking of like the Reveal the Shield Breacher. That was a good kind of fiddling toy. But I think they had some really good stuff around that time.
Daryl. What toy line do you think stands out in the long history of Transformers?
Personally, I have the most G1 figures out of all of my figures, but let's just take those out of the equation right now, because G1 it's the oldest and probably the most popular out of if you ask this of most people. So if I took G1 out of it, and for the high-end collectors, I'm going to take Masterpiece out of it because that's probably the next choice that I would make.
It could be your favorite.
It probably would be after G1, but I'm going to take it out of it just because it's not as accessible to everybody. So out of all the other remaining ones, I would probably agree with Will that I've probably been having the most fun since Combiner Wars started, that kind of series. The play pattern that they've started with Combiner Wars onward has been absolutely phenomenal, with combining all of the Titan class figures from each individual series into this ginormous cityscape with all the different miniaturized Titan figures and Headmaster guys, and they're all connected. Everything works together, and that enormous play pattern is something that I find very, very amusing, and I think is very cool. Everything works together, and it doesn't necessarily have to combine. They don't have to make everybody a combiner like they did in Combiner Wars, which kind of got annoying after a while. But every figure is essentially scaled with each other. So a Combiner Wars figure can drive up a ramp and be on Metroplex, and can hang out and work in the trailer that just came out on the the Optimus Prime that just came out on Earthrise. So that can fit in the back of that Prime trailer. So everything just fits, and it's really kind of cool. So I'm really enjoying this chunk, and I don't know whether it fits into one toy line, but I would say Combiner Wars onward has been amazing.
For me, I do agree with Will that the recent War for Cybertron and Earthrise figures are nice. I'm still kind of stuck on the battle damage and like smearing mud on all the figures. That still turns me off. So that kind of lowers them in my estimation for the modern figures. But the figures that I didn't collect a lot of them, but I do remember like the classics line. I guess this was just early 2000s. I have the Hot Rod, or I guess Rodimus he was called, and the Starscream. I have the Cyclonus. I think those are really good figures. So really, well articulated, modern reimaginings of G1 characters, but like, they were updated, but they still had, this was still, Hasbro had not gone completely super cheap on the materials, and they were still,
it was before the oil prices spiked.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So these figures are still pretty solid. So yeah, and not a lot of the kind of gaps, the kind of empty space gaps that we see in figures these days. But yeah, I mean, I think the classics line was a really good line, and also,
I sworn you would have said Unicron was your favorite line, but I guess you don't have it yet.
That's not a line. That's just one figure.
You spent enough
It's
money
a
to
line
buy
in
a
of
whole
itself.
line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't evaluate them, and I've paid for them, but I haven't gotten to actually. I mean, you've seen them more than I have, Jeremy, since you actually.
I've got a
there.
picture with them.
Yeah,
It's close as I'm gonna get to them.
But yeah, I mean, that's a good question. Thanks, Will, for writing in. I'm glad you're enjoying the War for Cybertron figures too. So maybe send us some pictures of some of the favorite figures you've collected. So. All right, well, that will do it for this episode of Transmissions. Thanks everyone for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Later.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this episode of Transmissions. But just because this episode is over doesn't mean the Transformers fun has to stop. Join us and other Transformers fans on our Discord chat server by visiting transmissionspodcast.com/discord. If you would like to learn more about how you could support the Transmissions Podcast, just visit transmissionspodcast.com/support. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
Excuse you. I said, excuse you.
That'll be a nice thing for Mike to run across in the audio.
Netflix and chill, Transform and chill. Yeah?
No.
Daryl, what are you doing? Come back to the show.
He's looking for something to show us. I got new comics.
Got a little Superman Jerry curl going on there. Hey, Jeremy?
I'm very much in need of a haircut. I'm just gonna let it go. See if we're in quarantine long enough for me to get my long hair again.